So in this lesson, we're going to look at how we use source control in UEFN. The important thing about source control is that it allows a team of people to work together and controls all of the assets to make sure that you are not in conflict with each other or working on an asset that someone else is also working on. It's also just a very convenient way of moving the projects around. It doesn't cost a thing. It's all built inside of UEFN, so we don't have to set anything up. So let the autosave finish running. So what happens is that the revision control is all managed down here in the bottom right. The point of the revision control that we're showing you is that it's the Unreal version, not Perfalls. Now, if you want to use Perfalls for your Unreal project, you set it up the same way you set up your Unreal Engine project, and you could share it the same way. All of the assets inside your project will live there in the same way, but you might find that the level is locked out in its entirety because somebody is working on it. And that is where the Unreal source control could be quite useful. So let me explain. If I am working on this level, test projects, this level is open at the moment on my computer. That means that under a normal source control system, I've got it locked and people can't edit the level. They might be able to edit components, prefab or anything else in the content browser, but the actual file that lives, let's go right back up to the top, in my test project content, this level here would be checked out on a normal source control system. In Unreal, using the Unreal Engine source control system, which is this one here, Unreal Vision Control, it will not be checked out. The assets within the level are what gets checked out. So right now I've got my Colosseum in there, and I've made a few changes to it. Every single one of these individually will be recognized by the source control system as an asset, and its position recorded and saved. So if I go to my open snapshot history, you'll see that I've got nothing. It says initial snapshot. It just creates it when I first created the project, which was at 10:30 this morning on the 9th of September. To bring all of this information into the revision control system, I need to make sure everything's saved, which I do by clicking on it, see if the box comes up with anything that's missing. The level is saved, so that's fine. So I do check-in changes, and it'll bring up a dialog box telling me all of the assets that are in my level that need to be changed. Now, again, if I was doing this on Perfalls, it would just show me the level that's changed, because all I've done is I've positioned things within the level. I haven't changed the assets, I've just changed where they are within the level. So all of that information is level relative. Whereas here, we're a layer below that. It's interesting where every single asset is in the level. So all of these cave straits, the Colosseum arch, these are all elements. If I just pull this out a bit so you can see it, these are all elements of the project that I've put in myself. Quite a lot of Colosseum elements there because I've got both the Colosseum and the smaller assets that come with it. It shows you where it's been saved in case you want to check. So we don't need to keep files checked out. We can leave that off, because the assumption is that once you've pushed it to source control, you no longer are working on that asset, so somebody else can work on it. So we just, as a good practice, keep that turned off right now. If I know that I'm going to be working on something, like say I know I'm working on a particular animation asset or a character, I could do that, and that means that no one else can work on it. It's, in my opinion, just safer to let everyone have access back to your files, and then you check it back out again when you want to work on it. So we're going to put in a change list description, and we're going to call it first push for test project. You might have something much more sensible to name it, and I suggest as much detail as possible. What's changed, how it's changed, when it was done, why it was done, anything at all, because that's all part of the context. Help your team understand exactly what each version's for. And then we hit submit. Now this will just upload. It will take just a moment, because actually what's in this file, there's not any new information. Everything we've put in this project already exists inside the Fortnite platform. And this is really important later on when we look at project size and how players run the project. There is a size limit. We can see it up here, project size, which is the most amount of data that can be stored within your entire project. And if you're bringing in lots of external assets, like your own 3D modeling, which you can absolutely do, but it will start to use up your project size. However, all of the content that comes out of the Fortnite directory will be saved already inside the Fortnite servers, so you're not adding to the project size. So you could build an entire project using just those assets, and you'll have a project size of almost 0. So now we can see our first push for the test project appears in our source control system. And if I click on it, I can open up the little dialog box. It will tell us what's happened, and it should tell us what assets were affected. There we go. And if we need to, we can, so I can focus on this action on the level viewport. There we go. That's that one there that we've changed. We can go to it in the browser, so we can find the actual asset, and we can see what other content uses or refers to this asset. So that's a little bit of a tree there. Probably very useful for animation and devices. Now, if I needed to roll back, this is a very big decision. If you're going to roll something back, we can go back to our initial snapshot. I'm just going to have to close my window a little bit here to make sure you can see this. It says here, sync your local copy of the project to snapshot 1. Now, this snapshot now exists for this project everywhere. Anybody that ever goes to open up this project will always see snapshot 2. If I roll back to snapshot 1 and then push a new change to become snapshot 3, that would then be the latest version that people would get down when they sync. But they could still go to snapshot 2 if they wanted to by going, same thing, sync your local copy. So by doing that, you are able to revert back to a previous version. So it's a safety check as well to make sure that everything you do is being looked after so that you can go back to a non-broken version if you've broken it. In terms of working as a team and project management, I would suggest snapshotting very regularly, almost on a per asset basis if you really want to, or when you reach a reasonable conclusion to a piece of work. So let's say I've just done a load of work positioning my Colosseum and I've got assets in it and I'm happy with it as it is. I will push a change for that one thing for the Colosseum. Make sure it's clearly noted that this is the vision control update for the Colosseum, and I've made these changes. Because there's no names associated to this, it says James Simpson 3D here because that's my account. But if you don't have a proper account set up, your name might not be on it, so it might be worth just adding a name to the description. Say, JS changed this. I did it because this. The updates look like this, and I deleted these elements. And of course, we can always come in here and see which assets James has been working on to make sure it's all okay. So that's kind of it for source control. The important thing is to make sure that you're regularly pushing and you're regularly syncing. It says here no changes, but if it said pull down or sync changes, then you must do it to have the latest version. But also work out that maybe you don't need to do it if it's something that you're currently working on. Maybe there's a change that might break what you're using. So push up, push down regularly, and communicate with your team. Use Slack or Discord or whatever tools at your disposal to make sure that you're always talking about what you're working on, who's working on what, and when you'll be finished with an asset. If you need an asset, make sure you ask for it. So that is the source control system. In the next lesson, we're going to look at how to add players and guards to the level.